March, TBR. For starters, like, I'm not going to do a February wrap-up because I only succeeded in reading 3 books. I'm in the middle of 2. Currently, I am listening to the audiobook for Middle of the Night by Riley Sager. I'm about 24% through. Personally, I just like to listen to thrillers on audiobook. I think it's more fun. I think it makes it more stressful. And then I'm still reading First Time Caller by B.K. Borson. I am almost done with that book. I just got to a point where I was so frustrated. I was like, me and her, we need a breather. Okay, you're mostly here for the TBR, I assume. And we're gonna keep it short because I'm not overly ambitious when it comes to it. Usually I underestimate it and then I can maybe achieve a little more, but it's never the other way around. I'm never like, I'm gonna read 15 books and then read more. No, I'm like, I'm gonna read 2 and then I read 5. So what I want to read this month. Currently, like I said, I am reading, and since February is a shorter month, like, I probably could have finished this if I had 2 more days, but I am going to finish First Time Callers, and then I will finish Middle of the Night because I've already started them. So those 2 are on here as well, but we've already started them. I also want to do Love of My Afterlife. I am so intrigued to see how they're going to do this, especially because she comes back to life. Like, she dies and is going to come back. And I just want to know how it's going to unfold. Like, what kind of... It's like a little quest. Like, go and find him. Go find the love of your life. He's out there. Good luck, girl. And I'm very intrigued to see how that's going to play out. I hope it's good, because if it's not, like, I'm building up this expectation in my head because it's a really fun concept that I have not seen in a book ever. I'm sure there's one out there. I have just not personally seen it and read it. That's a really unique concept, and I'm really excited to see how it unfolds. I really want to get into Rebecca Yarros's contemporaries. She has so many of them. I want to see what the hype is about, and I want to see, because she has so many, has she, like, perfected these? She has so many. I wanted to try the Flight and Glory series. I think that's what I'm going to start off with. There are 4 books in this series. I only purchased the first 2 just to be sure that I actually enjoy them before buying an entire series. I'm trying to be better about that. But really intrigued to see how these go. I have read one of her contemporary romances before. What was it? The fact that I can barely remember it should tell you something. I read In the Likely Event. That is what I read. I gave it a 3 stars, and genuinely, I cannot remember that book. I don't remember reading that. So I'm hoping this is better than that. I'm hoping that it stays in here. We shall see. But this one is about Army brat Ember. Her dad has just passed away, and it starts off with, like, them knocking on the door, and as everything's falling apart, she meets hockey star Josh Walker because he moves in as her next door neighbor, and the last line in the synopsis is that until his secret shatters both worlds. And then I also want to read Luck and Last Resorts. I bought these second in a, like, little series. I'm sure it's like interconnected, but it doesn't matter for the story, because the first one is Love, List, and Fancy Ships. I did not know that when I bought it, because I did buy it on Book Outlet, so it just shows you, like, this, and then it does the synopsis. It doesn't necessarily have all this other information. But this one's just about Nina. She basically feels like she can't rely on anyone, and she has taken a chef job on a super yacht, and she apparently has, like, an ex-coworker, an ex-old flame, Ollie, and he gives her an ultimatum that she either come to her senses and admit that they're in love, or he's getting out of here and never seeing her again as soon as they're done with their contract for the term of the super yacht that they're on. So that's super intriguing to me. I do love an ultimatum. I'm like, come on now, give it to me, give me an ultimatum, because I'm like, what are you gonna do with that information? Are you gonna be a scaredy cat, Or are you going to kick it into high gear and get your shit together and get over your insecurities? And then, of course, the Book of Azrael. I think I need a fantasy. Honestly, I've been reading a lot of romance. And I think that's why, like, In the Middle of the Night right now is so refreshing to me. The mystery aspect of it all, like what's gonna happen. Romances are so formulaic, you know, you're gonna get a happy ending. It's just how you get there that's different. And I want a little mystery back in my life. I want to not know how someone is going to affect me and what they're gonna do. Are they lying to me? Like I want bring back a little mystery. I think I want a fantasy. But this is the first book in the Gods and Monsters series. This is 1,000 years after the Gods' War. An old enemy driven by revenge slowly builds an army behind the scenes. Temples are being ransacked in search of an item long lost. An enemy since the dawn of time has put aside their differences if they have hope for survival. I'm intrigued. Consider me enwrapped. Like, I'm intrigued and I need to know. And lastly, I think that the first book that I want to pick up after I finish these other two that I'm currently in the middle of is Wild Eyes. This has been sitting on my shelf for a second and I've been wanting to pick it up. I just haven't because I'm like, I keep getting distracted by newer releases, aka Deep End and First Time Caller. Like, I got very distracted by those two releases when this was like next up, and like I was prepared to read this next, but I just got so like wrapped up in like newer releases that I didn't pick it up. But Wild Eyes is the continuation in the Rose Hill series. Wild Love was before this, so this is book 2. It follows Weston, which was our previous main character's brother. I'll just read you the synopsis. A rugged mountain town seemed like the perfect escape from a life in shambles, but on day one she ran full tilt into the world's hottest single dad, and now her plans are ruined. As chart-topping country singer with a recent streak of bad press, it's hard for Skylar Stone to find any peace until she finds it in Rose Hill with a little boy and a little girl who steal her heart as thoroughly as their dad. We have Weston, who from the previous book, we know that he is struggling a bit with his 2 children, but he is making it work. He was such a loyal and caring brother that I am interested to see him and more in his dad role, I guess. But I really want to read this because all the stuff for Wild Side is being released right now, and I want to be prepared to pick it up. The first one was like a single dad trope as well, but like he didn't realize he had a daughter basically. And then Wild Eyes, like it is also a single dad trope. I am curious if the whole series is going to be this way. I didn't immediately read this when it first came out because I had just read Wild Love and I wasn't wanting to do the single dad thing back to back. I was worried that it might be like boring or something, so I wanted to put it off a little longer, and then whenever I was ready, like new releases were coming out, so I was a little distracted. But this is the physical TBR for books that I hope to read this month, aside from the 2 that I'm already reading. So I'm hoping to get into these soon. It's a big romance month. It's because I went a little ham. My birthday is in February, and of course, like all the books that were on sale on Book Outlet, for the majority, they were romances. So hope you enjoyed. Toodles!